When my husband mocked my homemade lasagna behind my back, I teamed up with my mother-in-law to serve him a taste of his own medicine. What followed was a dinner he wouldn't forget, teaching him a lesson in appreciation and respect. My husband, Dave, and I have been married for about 3 years. I pride myself on my cooking skills. I'm no gourmet chef, but I've never had any complaints, until recently. Last Friday, I decided to make one of my favorite recipes, homemade lasagna. I spent hours preparing it, making sure everything was perfect. When it was finally ready, I served it up with a smile. I expected at least a thank you from Dave. Instead, he took one bite, made a face, and pulled out his phone. I thought he just took the photo because he photographs everything around. But in a second, I heard the sound of a text message arriving. Curious, I peeked over his shoulder and my heart sank. The message read, "Look at what she made tonight. It's barely edible. I miss Mom's cooking." My blood boiled. "Dave, what the heck is this?" I asked, my voice shaking. He looked up, startled. "What?" "Oh, nothing," he stammered, trying to hide his phone. "Nothing? You just texted someone that my lasagna is barely edible and you miss your mom's cooking," I snapped. Dave sighed. "Look, I didn't mean it like that. I was just, I don't know, venting." "It's not a big deal. Not a big deal?" I couldn't believe my ears. "Do you have any idea how much effort I put into this? If you didn't like it, you could have just told me." "I didn't want to hurt your feelings," he said defensively. "By telling me to my face, or by texting someone behind my back?" I shot back. "Because I think this is way worse." Dave rubbed his temples. Okay, I'm sorry. It was a dumb thing to do. I wasn't satisfied with his half-hearted apology, but I decided to drop it for the night. The next day, I had a different plan. I told Dave that I had a work event and would be home late. In reality, I went to his mom's house. She was a wonderful woman and I wanted to ask her for advice. When I arrived, she welcomed me in with open arms. "Hey, sweetie. What brings you here?" she asked, giving me a hug. I sighed. "It's about Dave. He did something really hurtful yesterday." She frowned. "What happened?" I told her about the lasagna incident and showed her the message Dave had sent. She was shocked and immediately agreed to help me. Oh God. I never brought him up to be such a brat. He'll learn a lesson. I have a plan. My mother-in-law offered to cook up a storm in her kitchen. She made all of Dave's favorite dishes, but with a twist. She overseasoned, undercooked, and generally made sure everything tasted awful. Then she plated it all up beautifully, knowing Dave wouldn't be able to resist taking a picture. Then she called him and invited him for dinner. The house smelled delicious, even if I knew better. As she worked, she explained the plan in detail, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "You'll make the mashed potatoes too salty, the green beans half-cooked, and the chicken dry as a bone. He'll be so excited when he sees the spread, and then, well, let's just see what happens." I couldn't help but laugh. "You really think this will work?" She winked. "Oh, honey, I know it will. Dave has always been a bit too sure of himself when it comes to food. This will be a wake-up call." As we set the table, my nerves started to ease. This was going to be interesting. When Dave arrived, his eyes lit up at the sight of the delicious spread. He eagerly dug in, but with each bite, his face started changing. He looked confused and a bit scared. With a smirk on her face, his mom asked sweetly, "Is everything okay?" He stammered, yeah, it's just not what I expected." She smiled and said, "Strange, I thought you missed my cooking." Dave went pale as the realization hit him. He turned to me, standing in the kitchen doorway, and I said, "I saw your message, Dave. If you have something to say about my cooking, say it to my face. I hope you enjoyed tonight's meal as much as I enjoyed making it." Dave was speechless, and his mom chimed in, "I didn't raise you to be disrespectful. You owe your wife an apology." He mumbled, "I'm sorry. But I wasn't done." I pulled out my phone and said, "You know, Dave, I think he'll send a picture of tonight's meal to the boys' chat, just like you did with my lasagna. Maybe they'll appreciate a taste of your favorite dishes, Mom's style." His eyes widened in horror as he realized what I was about to do. "No, please don't," he pleaded. I gave him a stern look. "Maybe next time, you'll think twice before mocking someone's hard work." From that day on, Dave never complained about my cooking again, at least not behind my back. Whenever I cooked, he made sure to show his appreciation. His mom looked at him sternly. "Dave, you need to understand how hurtful your words can be. Your wife put in a lot of effort to make that meal. She deserves your respect." Dave nodded, looking ashamed. "I know, Mom. I'm really sorry." "Actions speak louder than words," she replied. "You need to show her that you appreciate what she does." Dave looked at me, his eyes full of regret. "I really am sorry, honey. I didn't mean to hurt you." I crossed my arms and said, "Well, now you know how it feels to have your hard work disrespected." He nodded vigorously. "I promise, I'll never do it again. I'll be more appreciative from now on." His mom chimed in, "Good. Now, why don't we all clean up together? I'll give you a chance to show some of that appreciation." Dave quickly agreed, "Yes, Mom. Let's clean up." As we worked together to clean the kitchen, Dave kept apologizing and thanking me for the meal. I could see he was genuinely sorry, and it felt good to know that he had learned his lesson. Later that night, as we were getting ready for bed, Dave turned to me and said, "I really am sorry for what I did. I was being an idiot, and I hurt you. I never want to do that again." I sighed, feeling some of my anger melt away. "I appreciate the apology, Dave. But you need to remember that words can hurt. Next time, just be honest with me. We can work on things together." He nodded. "I will. Thank you for giving me another chance." "Just don't mess it up," I replied, giving him a small smile. The next morning, Dave made breakfast as a gesture of goodwill. He served me a plate of pancakes with a shy smile. "I hope these are okay." My husband called me worthless in the kitchen, so I masterfully taught him a lesson. My milk called me ungrateful for not eating food she cooked while I was on a pre-surgery diet, and my husband backed her up. I returned home from a 12-hour work shift just to find pizza crusts left for me by my husband as dinner. He took a bite and smiled. "They're perfect." Dave beamed, looking relieved. "I'm glad you like them." From that day on, Dave made a real effort to show his appreciation for my cooking. He never complained again, and our relationship grew stronger because of it. The lesson here? Don't bite the hand that feeds you, especially when that hand can serve up a dish of well-deserved revenge. Sometimes, a little creativity and teamwork with a great meal are all you need to teach someone a valuable lesson. I returned home from a 12-hour work shift just to find pizza crusts left for me by my husband as dinner. My husband was so comfortable with not working that he wasn't making an effort to find employment. One day he did something that broke the camel's back and I finally lost it. I set about getting revenge on him in a way that forced him to change his ways completely. Hi everyone, my name is Amanda and I am a 45-year-old married woman. I am not into handouts and have been working tirelessly. I've been juggling a full-time job and all the household chores. All the while my husband, Dave, 47, lounges around at home, doing the bare minimum. Last week, he pushed me to my breaking point, and I decided it was time for some petty revenge. Grab some popcorn, because this one's a good one. Before I get ahead of myself, let me start with a little background. I am a nurse by profession and that means I work 12-hour shifts. My job, which I love and wouldn't change for anything in the world, is physically and emotionally demanding. Meanwhile, Dave's been unemployed for over a year. Click here to read the rest of the story. This work is inspired by real events and people, but it has been fictionalized for creative purposes. Names, characters, and details have been changed to protect privacy and enhance the narrative. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental and not intended by the author. The author and publisher make no claims to the accuracy of events or the portrayal of characters and are not liable for any misinterpretation. This story is provided as is, and any opinions expressed are those of the characters and do not reflect the views of the author or publisher.